What's up, guys? Today we're gonna do something pretty cool. First, I want to take a look at the altcoin market because I do see some very bullish things, but I also see a major resistance point. So be a little careful. Like the video, don't be careful about that. Destroy that shit. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn the bell notification on, and let's get right into it. So first, let's dive into the altcoin market like really quick. Okay, now I made a complete video on my Patreon about the altcoin market and why I am now finally turning more bullish. But very shortly, why I'm saying that is because the total 3, hey, it has shown us it's making higher lows and it finally made a higher high. Now, will it go back down? Well, yeah, at some point there will probably be a pullback. Will it go all the way down to the previous lows? Look, everything is possible. Let me start with that. So like, hey, if we get a black swan, whatever that might be, or something very bad, it could always happen. Altcoins are still the best target for something like that to happen, right? But you do not want to place all your money on the fact that something like that could happen. I don't think we will see these lower levels if nothing crazy happens, at least, right? What I do think is that we will see a good pullback. Now, a lot of people, they feel like, oh man, have I missed out right now? Well, you know, the altcoin market collectively just did slightly over a 2x. But then again, Bitcoin already made that 2x. We spoke a lot about DCAing into Bitcoin. And if I now look where altcoins are sitting on their Bitcoin pair, I feel like, man, you know, it's like 14% up from the bottom right now. So yeah, missed out. I wouldn't worry about it too much, because also what's interesting, if you take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, the real fun is yet to start. Okay, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance really quick, then you see this, right? The dominance went down, but that happened during the fact that Bitcoin went up. Right, so the dominance went down from like, how many percentage was this? Like from here to where we are right now, 3.8, right? Bitcoin in the meantime went up. That's a very, small preview of what an altcoin season actually is. However, if we take a look at the last alt season that we had, we see that the dominance did not went down 3.8%, but it came down 46%, right? So therefore I said like, hey, altcoins now 2-3xing, some even more though. But overall 2xing, give or take. Hey, it's nice. But this move was more than 10 times as big, right? Like 12 times as big. That's still ahead of us. If we manage to get a similar move, right? And I don't know if we, then we first have to go up really hard still. And an ETF might cause that. I think a Bitcoin ETF could lead the dominance to go up more. So altcoins on the Bitcoin pair more down. And it doesn't mean that altcoins go down on their dollar pair, because the ETF will probably also pump Bitcoin on the dollar pair, right? But if you have Bitcoin, hey, it's a good position to be in still, to later convert it to altcoins. Now, what I do want to say, one form of skepticism right here before we get into the fun stuff, is if you look at the others chart. So others, this I said this before, but this is the top 125. Excluding the top 10. So a lot of people, they talk about the total 3 as the altcoin market, but this is everything including Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's also stables, right? That's not a really fair representation of the altcoin market, actually. The others chart takes away the top 10. So no Bitcoin, no Ethereum, no Doge, but also no USDT, no USDC, no Solana in this case. So that's more fair, like, hey, what's the rest of the altcoin market really doing now? That's this chart right here. Really bullish, but major resistance right now. Hey, and the last move, it's been incredibly bullish. But after going up, basically 130% in a straight line, if you've been a while in crypto, you know that it doesn't work that way, right? At a certain point, you can expect a pullback. And that's definitely what I expect, that we might rally more than where we are right now. But at the end of the day, I do expect that we at least retest this first white line, which is around 20% down actually on altcoins. Hey, and that's not so weird to think. I mean, AVAX is now $23. That would mean $18 AVAX. Well, yeah, hey, why not, right? That could definitely happen. And admittedly, I said before, I said this in the Patreon as well, and I want to say this on this channel as well. I, for example, spoke about the possibility for AVAX to go to $5, right? Now, why did I say that? Well, I said that because AVAX was sitting at 8, right? Was sitting at $8. And we usually, with Bitcoin in the second half of the pre-halving year or the first half, in this case, next year, see a good correction. And I was like, hey, but if that happens, right, and the dominance stays up or is going up more, yeah, then altcoins are going to go down really hard. So then it wasn't not so weird to think at all. However, now we have seen altcoins finally catching up a bit, right? So if we now get a good crash, altcoins at least have room to go down, right? So to adjust to the market, targets like $5 AVAX, and don't get me wrong, it could still happen, but in my opinion, it's kind of off the table. So, you know, about these really low targets, hey, I was a little wrong about that. And I think it's now also time to admit, like, I don't want to call it too soon, because anything could still happen. And, you know, before the halving, I am not 100% convinced that that it's actually that bullish, right? I mean, if we look at what happened the last cycle for Bitcoin in this case, we had the halving here, that's the blue line. We were also in a major upward trend. We went from 3K all the way to 14. That's a bigger pump than we have had right now. And we came all the way back down to 4, right? You could say like, yeah, but it was because of the COVID crash. Yeah, but even without the COVID crash, we went from the top to this bottom right here without COVID down 52%, right? If we go down now 52%, it will take us to 17K. And that's without black swan shit. So I'm not saying it's impossible for us to really go down that much. In fact, when everybody is so euphoric, that's usually when it happens. So I'm still prepared for that, right? But the really low targets like a $5 AVAX, I think there is a 15% chance that that could still happen, right? And that goes for all the altcoins. If we look at the chain link, for example, I said like, hey, worst case scenario in this area right here, 15% chance, right? Vulcan Forge, for example, $3 again. That's 50% down. Okay, not that unrealistic, but low chance that that happens. But I'm prepared. You cannot do anything with this information because I'm basically saying, guys, I don't think it's going to happen, but it could, right? Like, yeah, but let's be honest. I'm not going to sit here very confident like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Or yes, it is going to happen because let's be honest, we all don't know. We all don't know, right? However, one thing that I want to mention is about the others chart that I've just showed you. Not only this is sitting at like major resistance right now. We had massive support right here in 2021. We had big resistance here in 2022 as well. And we are now here finally again, right? At some point we have to pull back. Well, this looks like a good area to me. But also you can take a look at the dominance of the others chart. So how much is the top 125, excluding the top 10, dominating the rest of the crypto space? Now this is interesting. If you look at this chart, we are in this beautiful parallel channel right here, right? We went to the top, we went to the bottom, top, bottom. And now we're up very far from the bottom. Also admittedly. But look where we are right now. And look at the major resistance we had in 2017. Here again in 2018, again in 2020, huge support in 2021, a little flirting right here, and again in 2023 we had major resistance there as well. Now at a certain point resistances are there to be broken, and it could happen that this is the move that does it. But if I do look at this chart and it'd be like, wow, how much is going on at this level, I'm at least not placing some buying orders right now. Right? Like, I get definitely that people feel FOMO right now if you had no position. And some people, they sometimes give a comment like, you were telling people to stay on the sideline. No. I never do that. I never tell you to be all in or all out of the market. At least I don't tell you what to do anyway. But it's not smart to be all in or all out, because crypto is just very unpredictable. And what I have said, like, I'm not buying altcoins with my big money, because I'm doing that with Bitcoin. And yeah, like I just showed you, the altcoins on their Bitcoin pair went down quite hard. So we can still buy it pretty close to the bottom. But if you look with USD for your altcoins, yeah, then I feel like, man, we are now finally approaching some huge macro resistance. And this chart shows it, for example. So I am a little careful at this level right now. Hey, if it breaks, you probably get a retest. Like we saw over here as well, right? We broke, we got a beautiful retest. And that could be your confirmation. Like, okay, you know what? We've shown strength right here. Maybe we should get in, right? Otherwise, you just buy this resistance level at the same point, but it's resistance and not support. And then you can go all the way down. And this was a hard fall, okay? So it's still possible that this chart goes down 30%. And that doesn't mean 30% down on your dollar pair on the altcoins, but 30% in how much altcoins are dominating the crypto space right now. So I'm a little bit cautious right now about that. This is really a big level. I do want to go over something, and this is going to be a series of multiple videos. I asked in my Telegram group, if you haven't joined it, join it. It's really active right there, and a lot of smart guys out there. So I asked right there, like, hey guys, drop your video ideas, suggestions. Sorry, I had to pause real quick. So some of these suggestions are worth a video on their own, and some are some things that I could go over right now. So somebody said, I feel like gaming will lead this run, but as new regulations and laws get released, I feel like there will be a decentralized exchange have a short-term pop. Can you review on SDEX? And I think basically any DEX. Because he says, and or maybe better decentralized exchange coins to invest in to be prepared for a temporary rally if rule and regulations come in, and people, they will come in. And I think this is a very smart way to think, because Binance had to leave the Netherlands, Bybit had to leave the Netherlands, Gate has to leave the Netherlands, and in other countries a lot of exchanges has to go, and people will eventually, especially the people that have experience with crypto, which are being more and more, feel like maybe we should head over to some decentralized exchanges. And what I think it might be smart to look at some of these native tokens of these decentralized exchanges, and therefore you first have to maybe ask yourself, like, hey, what are the chains that are popular right now, right? Now, what's a popular chain, for example, right now is Solana. Now, then you want to take a look, like, hey, what are the decentralized exchanges on Solana? And there are a lot. We could take a look at Radium, but if you don't know, you can go to defilama.com. You can let it load for a while. You can go to chains. And this is a really cool way to find this out. So here you see all the chains, right? With the most value locked. That's where it's, that's how it's sorted. So Solana is number 8 in that list, so it's quite popular, right? So you can click Solana right here, and here you can see the top projects that are being built on Solana. So you can look, for example, at DEXs, right? Now, Radium is a DEX which is very popular on Solana, but Orca is a DEX which is very popular as well. So you might feel like, hey, Radium, oh, does it generate fees? Does it generate revenue? It does, right? And quite a lot. So Radium is doing very well as a DEX. So if you feel like, hey, you know, people will move to decentralization, Solana is a popular chain, Radium, right? So take a look at the Radium token. Now, Radium token is quite low cap if you compare it to a Uniswap or even a PancakeSwap with a $100 million market cap. So that's a way to look at it. Now, I think this came from far, by the way, because Solana was completely, after the FTX crash, like, people didn't care about Solana anymore. So why would you care about the projects built on Solana? It's even more high risk, right? So the alt chart, yeah, if you look at the market cap, it had a $1 billion market cap. It's now sitting at 100 million. So it has the 10x potential. if you take it over the last year, yeah, it did came from like 15 cents. It's now sitting at 40 cents. So it popped off quite hard. You have to ask yourself the question like, hey, is this the right time to step in? But this is how we take a look at it. Now you can, of course, also just go to DeFi Llama and not just ask yourself like, hey, what are the most popular chains? But just look right here. We have Ethereum, Tron, BSC chain. Arbitrum is popular these days. There's Camelot. If you go to Arbitrum, then you have DEX. Yeah, Uniswap, by the way. It's a multi-chain DEX. So Uniswap is also good for Arbitrum. But if you look at the Arbitrum native DEXs, then it's really Camelot, right? Balancer works on 7 chains. Uniswap works on 10 chains. So Uniswap gives you a good exposure to multiple chains though. But if you want to go with specifically Arbitrum, hey, you can take a look at Camelot. Now, I don't happen to know this because I never looked into this, to be honest. But I think they do have an own, they have an own token. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So $27 million market cap. Quite low for a chain which has a pretty good hype narrative, good projects built on there, fast, cheap. I like the chain. Where did it come from? Well, it started pretty low in December. Nobody cared about Arbitrum and it popped all the way up to 4K. Now it's back at $1,700, but it just did a 2x like the rest of the market. So again, timing, look at, suit for yourself if this is the time for you to step in. But I don't think this is a bad idea, but also look at their website, go into the white paper and look like, hey, but what is the, the use case for the token itself? Like, do we need a DEX token? You need the DEX, but what do we need the DEX token for, right? They can add utilities like Trader Joe with an NFT launchpad and a lot of lending, staking, farming, this and that, right on the Avalanche chain. And I think, by the way, that Trader Joe should have done nice lately. But this is an exchange token that I really like. Trader Joe, 14 cents, now 40, same, by the way, as the other one, as Radium. That's how I would take a look at that. So it's a good way to do it. Analyze some crazy tiny 1000x altcoin picks, chain GPT, launchpad, analytics, tactics on how to sell IDOs. Okay, these are all videos on themselves. But tiny 1000x altcoin picks, I just did a video with 7 coins under a $10 million market cap. Now, I'm not saying that that's like a 10 or 1000x altcoin potential. But to be really honest, anybody that makes like, hey, this altcoin could 1000x, like not really realistic. You're playing a very dangerous game right there, because most of the coins that actually have the potential to 1000x are also the coins that wreck you, right? Let's stay a little realistic. So yeah, gaming tokens on their Bitcoin pair. Also interested in coins with different crypto narratives. Yeah, so on their Bitcoin pair. So for the people that have been following my strategy and that have some Bitcoin, I don't have the complete list in Bitcoin right here yet. But if we, for example, take a look at Gala, right? Gala, it's doing nice, 2.4 cents right now, right? And it had a good bounce. However, if you take a look at Gala on its Bitcoin pair, also had a decent bounce, by the way, but it's quite near its low. It's just like up with 50% from the ultimate cycle, ever lows, right? Well, you feel like, man, 50% is a lot. Yeah, but to go back to its all-time high, it still has to go 2100%, right? So you buy it relatively close to the bottom if you want to buy it with Bitcoin. IMX, right? A project that I really like. Had some good momentum now as well, right? But you could look at this and be like, I missed out on a 70% pump. Yeah, on the other hand, you here missed out on a 150% pump and it still made a lower low, right? And it's in a downwards trend, as you can see. So I do feel like, I don't know if there's a good line to be drawn right here, like, yeah, maybe something like this. So it is in a downwards trend still. Illuvium, lower lows, lower highs, right? So although big hype right now and the market is very overheated, most of those make lower lows, lower highs. Volker Forged looks juicy, but you know, yeah, to be honest, if we take this as the previous high, it made a higher high. So looking better at least, right? And at least this has been quite like it's still quite of a downtrend, but it's more stable than the others. Ronin chain. Look, bounced perfectly almost off of this support level right here, and now heating up again. Sitting at some good resistance, by the way. You can probably already see what I mean. But if you take a line at where it is right now, we have resistance here. We had, well, small spike here. We had big support here. And now we're sitting there again. Most things are sitting like, oh, yeah, okay, we should cool off a little bit. CDFI on its, Bitcoin pair. Also resistance, right? Also resistance. We had it here. Well, that's where we started. We had it here. And now we're sitting here. Downtrend, right? Although CDFI did a 3x, still a downtrend. Ultra did not do much in this run. Super, I think, also not much, right? VRA, yeah, steady at least, but like still downtrend. So therefore I said like, hey, yeah, you can take a look at these altcoins on the dollar pair, and they look a lot more bullish. On the dollar pair, did I say that? But if you look at these Bitcoin pairs, yeah, I don't know, right? Therefore, it's good to have Bitcoin because you can still buy the downtrend, and that's basically what you want. When and or what exchange will the Sonaris token be listed? I can't tell you that yet. It's not confirmed, so I won't speak about that. How to take profit and reinvest or not reinvest them, lol. That's also a whole video that I'm going to make. So all these topics are going to be videos if you guys like that. But how to take profits? Well, look, that's totally up to you, right? It depends on a lot of factors, but I have my strategy at least. And that's DCAing. I mean, if you talk about DCAing, a lot of people think about buying, but it also comes to selling, right? If we take what has a lot of history, AVAX, right? If you look at AVAX, let's say you've been DCAing with just dollars. Very simple. I think that's what most people do. Let's say you've been dollar costing into AVAX around this whole area right here. You bought this, right? Overall, right? You have to set some levels for yourself where you think it might go. And by the time we get there, that's going to be the main topic on my channel anyway. But let's say you have good entries on AVAX, right? At a certain point, you set levels for yourself. So you say like, okay, you know, this kind of level is resistance. This level right here is it's kind of give or take, right? You want to really draw areas and not exact lines, in my opinion. But hey, this level is resistance, and then maybe the top is resistance, right? That's how you want to take a look at it. Now, I am a big fan of not losing money. And therefore, I mean that, let's say you've put in $5,000 in AVAX overall, right? And you are up with whatever, take your 5K out, right? If it all goes up, yeah, you won't make as much profits as you could have. But never look at crypto and be like, I could have, should have, right? That you will never do it perfect. You at least won't lose money. Secure it in the first place, right? That's the most important thing. Unless you are young and you have some money to miss and you feel like YOLO, fuck it, doesn't matter, right? But that's what I'm doing. So I would say once it hits your first big resistance level, hey, take your initial out, right? And then you could be like, okay, next resistance level, I take 15% out. Next resistance level, I take 20% out. Next resistance level, I take 50% out, right? And then the rest, let it ride and you'll see, right? That's the best way to take profits. Dollar cost in, dollar cost out. So it's the safest way, at least. You could, of course, try to completely time the bottom and going all in with all your money and try to time the top and going all out with your money. But the danger is that maybe it goes to $80 and you'll be like, oh, nice. Once it's $150, I'm going to go all out. And from that $80, we go down again and you'll never get there. You'll never took any profits. And then you maybe sell and then, well, you know. So that's the danger, really. And a bull market is more stressful than a bear market. Believe me, it's so fucking stressful. It's not. It is fun, but it's also not fun. So that's what I would say. And reshuffling, man. Yeah, reshuffling. I mean, I keep cash on the sideline no matter what. If the market now goes up by 10x, I don't mind having cash on the sideline because there will be new projects coming out during the bull market. So have some cash. If you don't, hey, if you make a 5x on AVAX, for example, take 60% out, put it in a new coin, right? Easy. Yeah, and how I take profits is, like I said, I've bought Bitcoin. I have some good profits on my Bitcoin. I made quite some money with Bitcoin. And at a certain point, I'll take a look at how altcoins look against Bitcoin. And I'll be like, okay, now it's time for me to put that in altcoins. Already made money here. Didn't lose anything. Now put it in altcoins. And if it goes up, make money again. Like, reshuffling is the best way. And sometimes securing some money is definitely not a bad idea. Yeah, okay, Launchpad comparison. I will do that again. I'm dropping a video about my top 5 Launchpads at least. But that's a whole different video. Video on how to bull market strategies, take profits. Yeah, what we just told. Practical information about Launchpads. Would be nice to see some beginner tutorial with basics on crypto. Another interesting subject is Cross Wallet, a new very that is a wallet. I don't know about that one. I'll have to take a look at it. But beginner tutorial about crypto. Yeah, it's for the current audience, not so interesting. But maybe I can just once drop a video for, like, you know, the newer people coming into crypto. How to trade on Bybit, etc. I can do a Bybit video. Check CWeb, shilling your Patreon to us. There's a Patreon link down below, so we can check that off as well. So there are a lot of requests that require an own video on itself, in my opinion, right now. Overall, to kind of wrap it up with, the altcoin market is quite heated right now, in my opinion. Some coins are newer, like Shrapnel. Like, can't say anything logic about that. Beam quite new as well. We'll see where that goes. For the older altcoins, I feel like, hey, for example, Illuvium, right? Don't get tricked into thinking that by looking at the charts, you'll be like, wow, you know, Illuvium can go all the way up another 20x to get back to its all-time high. That's just something I would like to say. It's very important for you to know, of course, because that has to do with token inflation, right? There are now a lot more tokens on the market than what they were back then. And if you compare the market caps, it doesn't have to go up 20x to go back to its all-time high. It's now sitting at a $550 million market cap, and it topped out at a 1.1. So it actually can go up 2x to go back to its all-time high. Now, and if I look at the market at the moment, you know, where we are right now overall, I do feel like, man, just the 2x, okay, Illuvium is pretty close to the top, right? So, hey, it could happen. But then again, I feel like, don't regret not taking some profits, at least, right? You don't want to buy an altcoin, make it 2-3x, and then write it all the way down again. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, we'll probably get back. But hey, you know, I remember this run right here, and it went all the way back down. And a lot of people didn't take profits right there. And you could have made much more out of it, for sure. So that's something I want to end it up with. I do think that coins like AVAX are very interesting. I made a video about my portfolio, some good layer ones with a lot of gaming content on there, can't hurt. Solana, definitely not buying into Solana right now, although it could go to around $80 maybe. But if you look at how much Solana is now dominating the crypto space, it's almost sitting at all-time highs, right? Like 50% off from all-time highs. So I do feel like, hey, Solana is already relative popular with the current price. So yeah. Yeah, I know it's a hot topic and maybe not too popular, and people say we'll take out Ethereum, this and that. I would just say, hey, don't get dragged too much into the sentiment at the moment, because that's a good recipe for getting wrecked. And newer projects like Games for a Living that just keep on mooning, I think that, you know, these are solid things to have in your portfolio. Now, this is mostly crypto gaming, what I'm looking at. My biggest investments are in crypto launchpads, engine starters, Seedify, pools. Seedify also beautiful. Sorry for my chart being a mess, by the way, but Seedify also sitting at some major resistance right now. And hey, maybe the market turns more bullish and everything will break right now. But I do expect a good pullback at some point. And it looks like the overall market and some individual coins are kind of sitting there right now. So be a little careful at this moment. Don't get wrecked. Like, be positive. Hey, the market is positive. Be positive. Be bullish if the market is bullish. But also be a little cautious when it comes to sentiment. Like, everybody now is saying like, oh, it all goes up 10x from here. Like, yeah, no, I don't know if that's actually going to happen right now. So I wanna wrap it up right there. Yeah, fuck, man, I have a lot of good videos coming. So fuck, subscribe to the channel, turn that bell notification on. Love you guys. If you have any video suggestions, drop them down below. By the way, if you are a video editor, I'm looking for someone who can do some work for me. So please send me an email. There are some contact information. There's some contact information in the description down below. Please let me know. I need you. All right, see you guys.